Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are going to be heading over to Home Depot and seeing what summer bulb selections that they have. Now I heard that they just brought in their dahlia tubers, so I wanted to pop in, see what varieties they have, see where they're coming from, and then give you my honest feedback on whether or not you should buy dahlias at Home Depot. So let's head over there and see what we can find. Real quick, I wanted to show you guys this. I came to Lake Oswego to make a quick stop, and one of the neighborhoods here always has these wild peacocks roaming around the neighborhood. So you will see these here. They come into your garden and they're just protected in this area. Isn't that so fun? All right, here is what they have, and surprise, surprise, proven winners have dahlias. Oh my gosh, this changes things. Okay, let's come back to this and see what else they have. Let's start on this side here, and they have a lot to select from. But here's one thing that I just don't love about buying dahlias at big box stores like this is they never have the colors that I want. They have all of these kind of bright in your face color. Some of these, like these double colors that I don't love. This one is okay, but they just don't have that beautiful, light color, like the peachy colors. They have a lot of bright colors. So if you're into that, if you like those bright colored dahlias that are in your face, give you a lot, again, color, then definitely these are probably going to be a good selection for you. Well, I can also see that they have peonies, lots of lilies. I've had good luck with their lilies, so I don't mind those. It's just the dahlias that I kind of want to focus on today. Let's see what they have here. So for 4 bulbs, wow, these are really big. Let's see, what are they charging? Oh, they have prices right on the tag. So for 4, you're paying $14.98, which, I mean, that is a good price. I will say that is very well priced for what you're getting. And this one is in Kabuki. I might be pronouncing that wrong. So that's that variety. There's Purple Rain mixed. My only problem with also buying the mix is you don't get, I like to know the exact varieties that I'm growing. You know what I mean? Sometimes they'll have a list on the back of what they are, but oftentimes they don't. So that's one thing that kind of bothers me when you buy mixes, and that goes for any company. It's just I want to know what varieties are in there. This one is called the Decorative Pastel Mixed. Again, very generic, so it's hard to tell what exactly is in here. But that is a pretty mix, and it looks like, again, you're getting 4 dahlias for $14.98. So you're probably going to get like a dinner plate, a couple of decoratives. This kind of looks like a water lily. It's hard to tell though in this picture. Now over here we have this orange one, which is kind of interesting. This one is called Mata, and these are $9.98, and you're getting 2 bulbs. Again, very, very well priced. This one here is Bluebird, like that deep burgundy. And one thing I recommend you do, regardless if you're buying it at a big box store or like a garden center, is turn the bags around and see if you can see inside, and make sure they're not soft or they don't have any like weird mold on them. Sometimes you can see that when they come in pretty early like this. So I always check the bag, and of course we'll talk more about that. Babylon Red, this is actually a really beautiful red. I really like this one. It's really, really bright. Let's see, this one is called Bluebell. I think I've grown this one before. Just a nice purple. I like that one. Let's see up here what we have. This one is Arabian Night, kind of a darker burgundy color. Bluebird again. And then there's this mix here called Pom Pom Mixed. Just too many variations. Again, I need to know the variety. The ones I tend to stay away from, again, are these dual color, just because these are so hard to design with. So if you're gonna have these like in your landscape and you like that red and white color combination, then 100%. But for designing purposes, things like this can just be very, very tricky when you're trying to stick to a color palette. I also don't love ones like this, the striped, this one is the striped Nagana. I like some that are kind of speckled like this. There's one called Picasso. I grew that one and that was really pretty, but again, this kind of makes it a little bit challenging to design with, unless you're gonna stick with that color palette that the Dahlia has the colors of, then you're okay. Now here's a good one, Vernon's Obsidian. This is actually a very nice Dahlia, and these are typically pretty spendy, depending on what farm you order them from. So I think I'm going to get a couple of these, but here is a perfect example of why you should check the tubers. Do you see? It's probably hard to see with the camera, but this one has quite a bit of mold around it. So I would pass on something like this, but I do like these. So let's grab a couple. These are 2 for $9.98. So that's a pretty good price. So I will get 2 of these, and so we'll get 4. Oh, look at that one. Look at the eye. It's already coming. Look at that. This one's just ready to go. So let's see. I'll take this one too. Looks to be good and healthy. Do we need one more? Let's do, do we do one more? No, let's just do 2. Let's stick to 2. Let's stick to the plan. This one is nice, the Blue Wish. I think I grew this one once before. It's a nice color. This one's nice. Haley Jane, that's nice. I like that one. Looks like a cactus. Now, if we swing back on this side, this is where they have the different brands. So here is the Figaro. 1 Blue Boy, 1 Crazy Love. Those are really pretty colors. We have Terza and Gideon Tuber. Looks like these are getting 2 for $9.98 as well. Let's see. Ooh, they have caladiums. Caladiums are really, really beautiful, and I would love to add more into our garden. Let's see what else they have. Lilac Time, that's a good one. And Prince of Orange, also a very good one. Cream de Cassius and Thomas Edison. These are both beautiful. Again, 2 for $9.98, not bad. Up here they have Lady Darlene and Babylon Red. Again, Babylon Red is a good color. And then this yellow and purple, Bluebird and Kelvin Floodlight. And then Miro Star and Snow Country Tuber. Those are really nice. I'm actually pretty surprised at the color variations they have from this brand. They also have really great elephant ear, which I've had pretty good luck with the ones from Home Depot. And they also have peonies. And now I just want to see what Proven Winners is offering. Let's take a look. All right, so it looks like they're selling 4 bulbs for $19.98. That's pretty good. This mix is called Burgundy Blush Dahlias. And let's see if they have the varieties. Let's see, planting instructions. Oh, and they do. See, I like that. That makes me happy. Do you see how they have all of the different colors that are in that mix? That is A+. Great job, Proven Winners. AA+. You get a like AA, double A+. Let's see, they have Arabian Night, Rosala, Golden Scepter, and then Sun Lady. All beautiful. The golden one was probably my favorite in this mix here. I might actually get a mix. Let's see what else they have. The next blend is called Candy Shop. And let's see which ones they have. So it looks like they have Kogan Fubuki, Snowflake, Lavender Perfection. That's a really nice one. I like that one. And then Cordessa. So I believe this is Lavender Perfection. This is the Snowflake. Was it Snowflake? Yeah. So it goes in order, I guess. So that's good to know. So you know which variety you're growing. That's a really nice mix. And then this blend here is called Sunkissed. And this one has Nordwiki's, I'm probably totally mispronouncing that, Glory, Motto, and Kogan Fubuki again. Okay, that's a good one. If you like that orangey yellow palette, that would be very pretty. And I think, let's see, is that it? Oh, there's one more. Radiant Romance blend. And this one, you have Natal, you have Burlesca. Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one. And Wizard of Oz. Wow, this is a great mix. Oh my gosh, that is a really good mix. I am going to get this one. I like that mix a lot. Honestly, guys, this is such a good deal. Like, run, don't walk. This is a great mix. I am definitely getting at least one of these, and we might be back for another. All right, let's go ahead and check out. We will bring these home, open them up, and then we'll have a quick chat about them.
Thank you for shopping at the Home Depot.
All right, so we're back home and I picked up 2 of the Vernon's Obsidian, and now there's 2 bulbs per bag, and I got 2 bags, so 4 of those, and then we got the Proven Winners Radiant Romance Dahlia blend, which I'm surprised and super excited about. Now, I would say that that is a pretty good deal considering that some of these are pretty expensive on their own. I have seen the Vernon's Obsidian go anywhere from $8 to $15 per tuber. And then for this mix, I've seen the Pom Pom Natal going for around $8 to $12. The Burlesca, I've seen anywhere from $8 to $20 per tuber. And then Wizard of Oz, same thing, around that ballpark, anywhere from like $10 to $20, depending where you're ordering it from. So overall, a really good deal. I quickly wanted to touch on the varieties of dahlias that these are. So the Vernon's Obsidian, this is an orchid variety. It's really beautiful. It's not the best for cut flowers because it doesn't last as long. And you have to cut it at a pretty early stage because the bees love to go for these open centers. So if the bees get to it, they're definitely not gonna last very long in the vase. So you wanna make sure you cut them before that center really opens up. But it's just a very striking color. It's very dark, almost black. And I think this looks really great in the landscape, and these do very well in containers, and they don't get very tall. I think, let's see, 24 to 32 inches tall. So that's not bad. I've grown these before and I actually really love them. And for the Proven Winners blend, again, they have a Natal, a Burlesca, and a Wizard of Oz. The Natal, they're saying it's a pom-pom. I actually think that's more of a miniature ball. The Burlesca, again, they have it labeled here as a pom-pom, but I do think that's also a miniature ball. And then the Wizard of Oz is a ball variety. So all really beautiful. You know, that's one of my favorite forms, is that ball shape. I do think it's just very compact and they're just so striking. And the Natal and the Burlesca get from 32 to 40 inches tall, and Wizard of Oz 32 to 36 inches. So all 3 of these are going to be beautiful cut flowers, and they will definitely make it into my dahlia beds. So whenever you're buying from a big box store, I recommend you opening up your dahlias right away to inspect them, check to see if they have any gall or mold or anything that looks a little bit suspicious, because we are not going to plant these out for quite a bit of time. Remember, we garden in zone 8B, so we only plant out our dahlias around Mother's Day, typically for us here. So it is pretty early for us to be getting these in, which is one of the concerns that I always have when you buy from big box stores. Depending on what zone you're in, you really have to keep an eye out on them for quite a bit of time before you actually get them out planted, which is fine because we have tons of dahlias in storage, so it's no big deal. But if you are in that area that you're going to be planting out dahlias, but you're still 2 to 3 months away from actually getting them planted, and you buy your tubers now, just make sure you open them up and you inspect them to make sure they look okay. If you start to see a little bit of shriveling, then you might need to add a little bit more of a medium for them to store in a little bit better. So that's just something to consider. If you're going to buy them way ahead of time, it's kind of your responsibility to make sure that they stay nice and plump before you're ready to get them planted out. There's just a lot of different like big growers that these big box stores work with and bring their tubers and dahlias from. And there's lots of pros and cons to that. The pro is you're going to get a lot of really great dahlias for a really great price, which if you're just beginning, I definitely think it's worth starting here if you don't want to invest a ton of money. Now for me, I am pretty diligent about where I order my dahlias from. I will never badmouth a company. I just won't order from them anymore. Or I might tell you guys like I don't have the best luck with them, but that's not everybody's experience because everybody from time to time will have a slip up, right? Now, the downfall about buying dahlias from big box stores is, one, they come in a little bit too early. Two, they're not usually stored in the best conditions. So if you buy dahlias right now and you're starting to see them sprout like we just saw with one of these, it's probably because they're too warm. And that's usually what signals these tubers to start waking up and they're going to start putting growth. Am I worried about it? Not really. Because what I'll do, maybe like a week before I actually get them planted out, I will cut that eye down, and that will trigger that dahlia to start producing more eyes around that area, the growth point, where I just made that cut. So I'm not worried about it. Now, I'm very excited to get into the Proven Winners blend. Now, I haven't ordered or grown any bulbs or tubers or dahlias from Proven Winners, but just knowing the care that they take with their other plants and the research that they put into all of the other things that they do, I have high hopes for these. I am very excited to open this box and see how the tubers look. Again, I know they're kind of getting into the whole dahlia world, which, by the way, proven winners, if you're watching and you want to collaborate and I can come up with a really beautiful collection, let me know because I would love to. But anyways, I'm very excited to see how these do for us. I have seen some of their dahlia plants up close, not tubers, but just the actual plants, and they looked very beautiful. So I'm happy that they are also kind of getting into the whole dahlia world, and I'm excited to see what comes out of it. So let's open these up and see how they look. All right, here are the first two Vernon's Obsidian. So I am just going to take them out and pop them in this box. Now you can see that these they're like little clumps. They're not individual tubers like you would normally get if you order from a farm directly, which is totally fine. Sometimes you can even divide this clump into more divisions. And so you might have two, but you actually might get 3 or 4 out of this bag. These look like they're in peat moss, and they look very plump and good. So what I like to do is try to remove some of that storage medium as best as I can and really inspect to see if I see gall, or I check to see if there's any mold anywhere. I can already see there are eyes over here, so there's already growth points on this one over here. So this one looks good to me. This one definitely looks really good. There's already an eye there. Now these have a ton of little broken tubers attached, which is no big deal. I will just cut these off before I plant them because these are not really doing anything. These all have broken necks, so we can just cut all of that off, but I'll leave them on for now. And when I mentioned about cutting the eye or that growth point, this is exactly what I mean. So you have this little growth point coming out, and instead of planting it with it already sprouting, this one is pretty small, which is fine. But typically what I like to do is I'll break this off or just cut it at the base, and you'll have 3, 4 other little eyes or growth points starting to grow from that one little area. So that is typically what I like to do. And here's another one. Let's see, this one also looks good. I can see an eye right over here. So it's just this little white, almost looks like a little pimple, little growth point right there, which we've done tons of videos on dahlias before that you guys can go reference what I'm talking about, or anything really. I have a ton of dahlia content for you guys to reference. And this is the only suspicious one. I can tell this one has mold right here and that's very soft, so I can just go ahead and pull that off or cut that off. And let's see, this over here is also very, well, it is kind of soft, but not terrible. And if I just spin it around, I do see a little growth point right over here. It's very difficult to see. So this one should be okay, but I will keep a close eye on this one right here. Now I want to check the Proven Winners blend. So let's open this up. Again, this is my first time. So let's see how these look together. Oh, okay. Oh, and perfect. And the bags are all labeled. Love, love that. So let's look at the Burlesca first. Trying to keep them all together. Again, it looks like this is in peat moss. They look good. All right, this one looks good. You can see it's just a little clump of tubers. And let's see if I can spot any growth points. Probably not in this one. It's very tight. So sometimes it will be at the bottom right underneath. Oh, there looks like to be a growth point right over here. It's so tiny. But this looks like to be a growth point. So this looks good. Let's keep them together so we don't mix them up. And let's see here. This clump also looks nice and firm. And I can see several little growth points right over here. So these look good. And these will obviously be a lot more noticeable in the springtime once they're starting to wake up a bit. So let's keep those together. And then next we have Wizard of Oz. This is such a favorite. People go wild for this one. It's just like a very light pink and white. such a beautiful dahlia. And this one, I can already see a growth point right away. Right over here on the stem is a growth point. So you can oftentimes you will see that happen where they might not be here around the crown of the clump, but they can sometimes be on the stem of the actual clump. So that looks good. And overall, there's some broken necks here, but again, that's totally fine. No worries about that. So that one looks good. And finally, we have Natal. Let's see. Ooh, this one looks nice. Nice big clump. And this one, I can already see growth points just at the very tip of this tuber here. So what I could do is wait for this one to start sprouting. I can cut this one off, and that could be one. Of course, this is very skinny, but it should still produce a beautiful flower. And looking at this tuber right here connected to the whole clump, there's a little growth point right there, just at that very tip. So this one also looks great. So the final question is, should you buy dahlias at big box stores like Home Depot? And my answer is yes. I think it's a good place to start, especially if you're new to dahlias. I think you first should do your research and understand where these dahlias are coming from. You can either go on their website, you can even write them an email. I have done that before and I've asked them, hey, where do you grow your dahlias? Where are they coming from? Can you share a little bit more about how you grow them, how you divide them, how you dig them up, and how you store them? So you can try to do that. There are some very reliable big companies. I think places like Longfield, they have really good dahlias and I've had good success with them. I'm definitely excited to try proven winners, and I will report back on how these do this year. For me, my primary source for ordering dahlias is going to be from local farms, which I've talked about several times before. I think ordering from local farms is just the best way to go first. You are paying a little bit more money, but you're also getting beautiful tubers. You're also getting a huge selection that you're not going to find at big box stores. So there's a lot of pros from ordering from local farms, which is where I recommend you go first. But if you're on a budget and you're just starting out, are these places a good investment? Yes. Do I think you need to keep a closer eye on them? Probably. Again, it goes back to understanding diseases and how these places are processing these dahlias. Have I had dahlias from smaller farms have things like gall or other diseases? Yes, I have. And with those, I typically reach out to the farm directly and I let them know. I give them a heads up. I say, hey, just to let you know, I ordered this tuber and it had this disease. Does that happen very often? Not really. So it's just one of those things that it can slip up. And sometimes it does, and I don't blame the farm. Now, if I'm ordering from them consistently and I'm consistently having an issue with several of their dahlias, then I will just not order from them again until they change their process. So I guess the takeaway is do your research, try to understand where your dahlias are coming from. And if you can find more information on some of these bigger growers, great. A lot of them have really great practices put in place, so I feel confident about ordering from them. But there are some others that I'm not too familiar with, so I'm going to spend a little bit extra time doing my own research. But do I think you can get dahlias for a good deal, especially, again, if you're starting and you don't want to invest a ton of money? I do think it's a good place to start. I think once you start to understand where dahlias are coming from, it also gives you another appreciation for them. I know for me, I do. I really get into the weeds of it and try to understand, okay, who is this farm? Are they local? Are they from another country? What are their practices? What are their laws? So I really get into the whole nitty-gritty parts of it. Some people don't want to do that, which is completely fine. And if you're not one of those people that wants to learn more about the journey of this dahlia, just make sure you're at least checking them for any signs of visible disease like gall. And then, of course, once they start to grow, just keep an eye on them and see how they are. And if they are diseased, then you can go ahead and just discard them. But for the most part, I've had pretty good luck with most of the places we've bought our dahlias from. Anyways, I would love to hear more about your guys' experience and where you get your dahlias from. And if you've had really good success buying from big box stores, what was your experience like? Was it good? Was it bad? Was it eh? And of course, if you have any questions, let me know. I am here to answer all of your questions, especially about dahlias. You guys know I can talk about them all day, every day. So anyways, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today and watching today's video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.